Cause I can tell that no step-by-step procedures, no magic formula to bring me down to my knees. Now can there be any concoction of words that can render me speechless? So trust me, I've had enough. And I've seen enough to know what happens when I choose to ignore my guts. And I've seen what happens when I choose to fear what makes me happy. So baby, I won't accept flowers. Instead, give me something that will not die. Give me something that will continue to grow, wilt at times but rebirth in spring. So baby, love me. Love me like how little kids run on the street so unafraid of looking foolish, baby. Love me with your ears so that you can realize that I talk far too much. Love me like the ocean or shallow or deep or something else much vaguely romantic or far too cliche. Baby, love me like the weird sea creatures. You know, the ones that are a little bit messed up with crooked teeth. The loners. Baby, love me like you never have to explain. Baby, love me like the spaces in between words that not said. Baby, love me like it's not complicated in the end. Love me like I was the problem and you're the solution. And who the hell gets to decide what the problem is? Because it's just you and me. Baby, love me like you never have to explain. Love me like you saw to your kindergarten crush you're going to love them. Love me like it's never complicated in the end. Because honestly, the way to love a girl like you can't possibly be explained. Baby, love me like you've always known how to spare the poet.
Okay, thank you so much. Spear the poet. Interesting. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm
Good
fine.
Morning.
Good morning.
What else, boy?
Salama sana.
Good.
Salama.
Welcome.
Thank you.
That was a nice start off.
Thank you, thank you.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me about the important aspect of generally the issue of poetry, because what we have, Kenya, what I've heard mostly from poets is that this is perhaps, in most case scenarios, they have ventured into this as a result of passion.
Yeah.
So what was your starting point, and what was the point of inspiration to where you are today?
It started back in high school. So I used to write letters for people in school.
Okay.
I used to be this shy boy and I used to write letters for other people. So my teacher got to get one of the letters that I wrote.
Okay.
Instead of punishing me for writing a letter to a girl,
Yeah.
the teacher told me I have something in me I can
was
write.
about love,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes, definitely. So like I started writing. From then the teacher told me instead of doing that I should like use my talent somewhere else. So I started doing poetry in school, and it developed from there.
Okay.
Yes.
So that was the starting point.
Yes.
And when you knew that there was that in you, how did you sculpture around it in terms of ensuring that you boost it up so that it can bring you to where you are today at the moment, to be heard from on a television platform? And I'm sure you have a following out there. Yeah. And how do you, try and address the two audiences? At one level, the intra audience that is within you, and the outside audience who are listening to you.
Basically, I'd say after let me start. After high school, I joined Nakuru Players Theatre.
Okay.
So there, I started forming a fan base from there. From then, I could listen for what people said, like from around. Then it would like help me grow in a way. So like I'd say, like for me, getting platforms, it helps a lot. Like it helped me a lot in terms of growth and reaching people out there and like helping me like remain relevant in a way.
Okay, in terms of remaining to be a relevant person in the society, then from the high school to where you are today, I'm sure you must have been driven by the intent to be a better person in the society too.
Yes.
So in terms of communicating, I'm sure you can do that through the verbal communication, through your poetry, through your makeups, in terms of the poetry. But how well are your topics segmented, or do you have selected specific topics with which you would dwell upon in terms of conveying a message?
Not really. Actually, I write about different things. Like it all depends on what inspires me. I'd say I write everything from love to social issues, to war, corruption, everything, like general thing, depending on like what affects me and what inspires me, depending on the things that I see around.
So the starting point then definitely seems that what inspires you to write or to take up the pen and perhaps pen it down is the fact that there are many happenings in the society with which you can write many things upon them or communicate a message. So how well is the response in terms of the different people who have different problems too in the society? Because there are some who are affected by corruption, some who are caught up in love triangle, some because of other social issues, finance, or probably the society becoming too materialistic. So is the message going down better?
I'd say for the few that I know, actually, for example, after I'm done performing, someone comes to me and tells me, manze, spia yo piece imenijenga sana. Yeah, so when I hear that, I feel like I've made an impact on someone's life. So I'd say for the few people, the many people I've had a chance to perform to, generally I've had positive feedback from them. Then I can say in a way I've made an impact somehow.
Okay, in terms of hammering that, and I'm sure the impact has the hammer effect in terms of addressing issues. Some might gain the moral sense of it, some the psychological sort of relief, and some the salvage point of relief. Then in terms of the segmentation, then how do you make up those lines so that they can directly address the inner happenings of someone? You might never know, but in terms of the composition out there, there's someone who feels solace, there's someone who feels his problem have been addressed.
What I'd say is, you see, when I'm writing a piece, I write things that affect me, for me. Because I might be going through something that you are going through. So when I write something that like I feel might bring a solution to something, I tend to consider like how would you take it. If it helps me, then it will help you too. So when I'm writing, I write it like addressing to me, for me, like what do I want to do about a situation, or what can I do about a situation. Then I put it on the like focusing on the other person.
So you see yourself perhaps as a fraction of the society. One person probably who might be having the shared common aspects of the same problems with other people in terms of the presumption. But where you are today in terms of writing it down, do you do it on social media, because that is perhaps the most conveying platform at the moment, and in the 21st century to be specific and in particular? And is your customer base or is your fan base at the moment one that you can say has grown, and there is some sense of growth that's being felt? And in terms of the clicks and the followership, are they getting not only the message but also is your name growing?
Yes, I'd say it's growing, since also poetry as an industry is growing. Because initially poetry had started out as a groupie, but now I'd say it has grown to being like an industry. So like gradually as my growth goes on, I feel like my name is growing and going out there, because I sell myself on social media. Like whatever I post on social media like sells me out as a poet, and it portrays everything that I say or I write. I portray it on social media first before going out on stage, because social media is like, you know, I'm one, I can't like reach people at once. So what I do is I reach different people through social media at once, because like it's diverse in a way. Okay. Yeah.
And in terms of then doing the live performance, are you invited perhaps? Do people reach you out in terms of the events that they have, the marriages and the other important events that do happen in the confines of the society? Do people reach out to you?
Yes, they do. Actually, they do. I've had to perform in different events. I used to perform in an event in Nakuru. Because I'm from Nakuru, I just moved to Nairobi due to some things. So in Nakuru, I used to perform like there's an event called Upgrade Poetry, the Oibaism TV show, and other events. I also got to perform in church and in other occasions, I'd say. So I get invited a lot, but it all depends on how I've like set my name out there.
Okay.